I would imagine as a parent that I might feel that way if I raised my child to be a particular way or to do these things that I thought was good for them. And then
Mm-hmm.
they say, actually, nope, that was actually crippling for me. That was actually like suffocating for me. That was not life-giving like I thought it was. But it wasn't about that for me. It wasn't about sticking it to my parents. I was finding myself. I was
Mm-hmm.
finding something deeper that connected, that felt like it was in alignment. I felt alive again. I felt like I was like a flower blooming because I was rooted. I was learning more about my ancestors. I was learning about our indigenous ways, and it was enriching. And I say that that was something that like shifted and opened doors for me and helped me get here, because that was a part of the track to end that got me here talking to you.
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become the best possible versions of themselves and to strive for overall health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, all of the healths, without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who've been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time somebody shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. I just wanted to tell you that the reason I reached out to you was because during ECCP, your little square kept like reaching out to me saying, "Get to know me better, get to know me better." So I was like, I gotta
I
get.
love that. It's the hook, line, and sinker, right? Like,
Yeah,
wait, which way
exactly.
is the real? Reel it in. Like throwing people out, right? Okay. That was a dance. When I was in college, we called it cooking. And we would, yeah, like that's
Oh,
actually a
that's
dance.
cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Sometimes to my smelly older brother, I go, "Look, look, look, I'm gonna go fishing."
Right.
I
Go
totally.
fishing for the finger, right?
Yeah.
Fishing for the finger. Well, that's so cool. ECCP was such a great experience.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was getting into, but once I
Mm.
got in there, I was like, ooh, I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
Home. It was incredible. Absolutely
Yeah.
incredible. Mhm.
Are you going to launch live? You are? I'll see you there.
Oh
Oh my God, do we
yeah,
get to hug each other?
yes, yes, we do. We do.
I
Yes,
just got chills.
I
I
will
just
be
got
at
chills.
Launch Live. Yeah. People are asking, like, are you going? I think people are like not sure, because some people, are, trying to decide. But I knew as
Yeah.
soon as I heard, like, I'm going. I used to live in that area, so I'm very familiar with that area of
Nice.
Texas. So I said I was gonna come in early and like go drive by my old house and like go meet the people who bought the house when we left. Like, I'm just gonna knock. Hi, I
I've
used to
done
live
that
here.
before.
Have you? How'd it go? How
Yeah.
was it? Because people think that's kind of weird. I'm like, we literally built that house. Like it was a new build. And so
Mm,
my oldest was 2. He was a baby. And when we were
mm.
like choosing the stone and the brick, we let him choose. Like we couldn't choose. So we were like, choose one. So like he chose the brick on that house. So yeah, I want to go knock and say, hey, my 2-year-old picked this stuff out. How you liking it?
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah, my experience was a little different because when we sold our house, I was still a teenager. And
Mm.
when I knocked on the door, they're like, "Oh yeah, we remember you. We used to see you smoking on the side of your house."
Not they were ratting you out.
Yeah.
Wow. And also that means you haven't changed? Like,
Um, well, I think it was only like 5 years later at the time.
okay,
So I was
okay.
like, I was still a grown up, but we're not really grown ups in our 20s, I don't think.
Ooh, the 20s.
Mm,
What a decade. Mm,
mm.
mm, mm.
Yeah, the way I like to describe that is we turn 18 and we're like, "Oh, I know who I am now." And then you turn like 20 and it's like, "Boom, nope, you don't know who you are. This is who you are." "Oh, great, I know who I am now." "Nope." You know,
Yeah.
it's this constant, I know who I am, I don't know who I am. At least that's how it was for me, you know.
Yeah. That time, 20s, that was a tender time for me. I grew up very Christian, grew up very in a very religious type of situation. And like a typical teenager who's ready to get out and try all the things that you were told were sinful and you couldn't do, I was trying to do everything. I just wanted to
Mm,
be out. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to flourish. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to have sex. I wanted to drink and party and twerk. And so, and I did those things. And I feel like, well, was I really trying to find myself or was I just trying to learn how to play?
mm,
I think I was learning to play. It was the type of exploration that had not been afforded to me. And so I was learning to play. And I think that's a big part of my growth, actually.
mm. Were you learning to play as yourself? Because you said, was I trying to find myself or learning to play? And
Mm.
I mean, maybe you were learning to play as the real you who's not locked up by all these rules from organized religion, you know?
Yeah. I was actually like, I felt like I was like on parole. Like, even though my parents weren't like lurking, watching at that time, there was still a cop in my head. There was
Yeah.
still like the pastor in my head who was like, the parent inside of me that's like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that way. And so I think for me, yeah, it was like playing with a leash on.
Mm,
And so something in me was like, this isn't really you, but go ahead and get it out of your system. I hadn't really come to grips with learning who I could be outside of that organized religion, outside of, being the perfect, I'm the oldest daughter of four girls.
hmm.
So outside of what mom and dad expect from you and really coming to grips with who you really want to be. And I feel like that didn't really happen for me until much, much later. But in the 20s, I was just playing when I could. And still though, even like I said, with the pastor and the preacher and the police, the parent in my head, that was like, you shouldn't. Yeah, I really think like that phase of life, I was just kind of like coping and like marking time. It wasn't until much, much later that I allowed myself to see myself.
Mm,
And it was after, oh, so much later when I think glimpses of me, because I allowed myself to play for that season, glimpses of me started to feel safe with me. And when that happened, I started to say, oh, well, Jada, who are you really? Who are you really? And that, I think that was the beginning of like this turning from listening to the voices and the voices in my head that wanted to control me and really begin to explore what
mm.
liberation looked like for me.
That leads me to my next question. Who is Jada?
That's such a loaded question. Such a loaded question. And I will do my very best.
What is the essence of Jada?
Ooh, mm, mm. I really am. Mm. Thank you for asking about the essence.
Yeah.
Because I think when that question is asked, many of us go to our roles. And
Yeah.
that's what my mind naturally wanted to go to. Oh, the roles, the things that I do, right? But
Hmm.
the essence of me, and Jada is curious. Jada is curious. And Jada loves to laugh. I love to collaborate with people. I love sharing with people. I love conversations like this. Um, I love to be creative. And I like to play. I like to flirt. I like to make people feel good. I like to like laugh until my stomach hurts.
Mm-hmm.
And like some of that is like the essence of me because I bring all of that to everything that I do. I bring that to my work. I like to think that I bring it to being a parent, and I have two young children, and I like to think that I bring as much of that as I can into that, especially the curiosity. You have to be curious. We have a 5-year-old who almost almost six, and he has questions about everything. Um, I like to try to parent him with patience. And also I try to remember and recall the 6-year-old in me and how I wanted questions answered and I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be delighted in and doted on and, loved in that way. And so I think the essence of me is being curious about everyone instead of like, I was such a rule follower growing
Yeah.
up. And so curiosity is like, let's see what's down that road. Let's go down the path less traveled, or everyone's saying no, but no one's telling me why.
Mm.
And everyone's saying yes,
Yeah.
that's the right thing, and everyone's just saying don't ask about it, just do, just follow, just obey. And I think that a part of my work as a spiritualist, a diviner, as a life coach is to hopefully expand and allow people to just play in the landscape of their life and
Mm.
determine, well, what do you want to do today? There, forget about the rules. What do you say you should do today? Who do you say you want to be? Um, yeah, and hmm, that's what makes the work worthwhile to me. And bringing all of who I am is, I think that's the secret sauce. That's the secret ingredient. Because when I do that, then hopefully I'm creating a space where clients can do the same.
Yeah. That piece right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this whole like adventure of self-discovery and finding out who am I? For me it was like I discovered that everything that people put me down for was actually my superpower. For example,
Huh?
you're too sensitive. You're so weird. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, that's right. I'm a fucking weirdo and I feel your
Mm-hmm.
pain at the same time. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't like it, go find who you like. I'm good.
Hello. Hello. That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Too sensitive is like, oh, you're empathetic. That's the first thing I heard. I'm like, oh, you're
Mm-hmm.
empathetic. You feel,
Yeah.
you're in tune and attuned to yourself and to others. That is a superpower. That's what
Mm-hmm.
makes you Katie and what so many
Exactly.
people admire about you. So I love you. Absolutely right, girl. Absolutely right.
Yeah. So it's like the things that I don't want to say all people, but like the things that I was shut down for are the things that are the essence of me,
Mm, yeah.
And you can't I'm not turning it off anymore for you or anyone. I'm gonna continue to be me. And like you said, it gives other people it gives it gives other people permission to be themselves too.
Yeah.
And I think when we show up that way, people are more attracted to that than like the polished, perfect, scripted, you know,
Uh-huh.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it just makes it safe to play. It makes it safe
Mhm.
to come all the way out of yourselves. Because I mean, we're always thinking about like, like we all have judgments. We all have them. And we're all like battling our own judgments that we have for ourselves. And so it's much harder to open up to someone who hasn't done their own work or who we have perceived to have it all together. No one has it all together.
No.
And
I mean, I certainly do.
oh, excuse me. No one but Katie has it together, folks.
Thank you.
But yeah, like there's just something so beautiful about mess,
Hmm.
messiness, and um, I think that when we normalize, I know everyone's like, oh, normalize this, normalize that, but I think there's something very powerful about normalizing the things that have felt out of reach, like, oh no, or out of touch, or just too much, too messy, can't handle.
Yeah.
Um, I notice a lot. I hear myself say this, I hear clients say this, like apologizing for sharing parts of your life that seem messy. And there's never been a time when anyone has done that where I've thought, oh yeah, they're a mess. I never thought that because no, I think you're human. I think you're
Yeah.
going through it. I think you're healing. I think that you're doing something brave by even talking about what's going on. And so I had to check myself when I want to apologize for messiness.
Hmm.
Um, Part of the mess, I think even acknowledging that there's something going on and awareness has to be present. Very ADHD, right? And one of the things with folks with ADHD is um object permanence. Like something could be right here in front of me and it's like I don't, if it's not exactly to the left, turned exactly the way I last saw it, it's hard for me to see it. So
Mm.
there's a beauty with awareness. There's a beauty
Yeah.
where even when we can say, "Oh, this is such a mess," even that acknowledgement is like, "Oh, that's so beautiful that you even thought to say that." Even if it's a judgment, that lets me know, "Oh, you see yourself,
Yeah.
see your life, and that means that there's a desire for more." Oh, it's stunning. It's stunning.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think this is kind of related, but I saw this video on Instagram the other day, and it was a girl that said, I don't really believe in TMI. I want all of the I. Tell me the gross stuff. Tell me the poop stories. Tell me your sex stories. Tell me I want all the I. I'll listen. It's not too much for me. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Totally.
Give me all the I.
Give me all the
Yeah.
I.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I think that fits into the mess. Like some people think that the I part is messy and people don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing something that I can relate to.
Mm-hmm. Mm. It's a tender holding space to
Mm-hmm.
find folks that you can give all of your eyes to. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do you have like a specific story or event or something that happened to you where there was a moment in your mind that either changed your life or kind of opened your eyes to something in your world? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Oh, something that opened me up to my world. I feel like being in this business, that's something that happens regularly. So it's
Mhm.
like trying
Yeah.
to find just find trying to find just one. I mean, it can be, hmm. I think that what's coming up for me now is when I decided to leave Christianity and leave the church. And that was egregious, child. That was
Mm,
the biggest sin to commit, especially because I was leaving to pursue, not right away, but eventually my own spiritual path that people call demonic. Like I'm a tarot reader. People are like, "Oh, girl, I'm a medium. I talk to dead people. They talk back. I do all
yeah.
of that type of stuff. I know, right? The shock. Oh my God, the horror. Um And that was quite a defining moment for me, particularly because as a recovering people pleaser, as like I said, the eldest daughter, I was held to such high esteem. I had to be the example. I had three other sisters who were watching me, and I was constantly put um, in this place where I had to perform perfection. At least I felt
Mm,
that. I felt that I had to. And so doing something like this, leaving what was perceived as safety, the Christian faith, you're an American, you're Black, this is what you do, this is what we do. And I was like, there's something more for me because I am not fulfilled here. I am not seen here. I cannot be in my power and be Christian. it just wasn't possible for me. There are others who that's their story. It wasn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I say to people often that Christianity itself is what separated me from God. It did
Yeah.
not bring me to God. And also, Christianity separated me from myself and my own divinity. And so, even saying those things now, that used to like make my voice tremble, like to, to say, "Oh my God,"
Yeah.
like who's gonna, But I love what Coach Sean Smith says about building the body for rejection,
Mm.
because I feel that that is something that's necessary for anyone who's doing something that is countercultural or completely different from the way that the family's been doing things and the way that the household does things, the black sheep of the family, the black sheep, like all those things, like outliers. um Rejection is a part of that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that like my work now as a coach and also as a spiritualist, I get a lot of people who come from the church. I get a lot of people who are like nervous, like I'm coming to see a tarot reader, but woo, my Christian people. Um, and I just affirm them. I just say, wow, look at you honoring your yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all that I did. And that was a defining moment because that was when I had to have those conversations with my parents and hold myself as best I could while also recognizing that they may have been taking my stance to walk away from the church as judgment of their parenting, as judgment of, oh, does that, doing something wrong. And I don't know if they thought that or not, but I would imagine as a parent that I might feel that way if I raised my child to be a particular way or to do these things that I thought was good for them. And
Mm-hmm.
then they say, actually, nope, that was actually crippling for me. That was actually like suffocating for me. That was not life giving like I thought it was. I could imagine as a parent, I might feel away. Um, but it wasn't about that for me. It wasn't about sticking it to my parents. I was finding myself. I was
Mm-hmm.
finding something deeper that connected, that felt like it was in alignment. I felt alive again. I felt like I was like a flower blooming because I was rooted. I was learning more about my ancestors. I was learning about our indigenous ways, and it was enriching. And I say that that was something that like shifted and opened doors for me and helped me get here, because that was a part of the track to end that got me here talking to you. And I'm grateful for my upbringing. I'm grateful for the stories and the people. I come from a line of church folk and pastors and preachers and evangelists and prayer warriors. I come from all of that. And I honestly
Mm-hmm.
use all of that in my work. And it's okay that it's not enough.
Mm.
It's okay that there's more for me. I always like to say, Christians will say that um, Jesus said, um, I've come to give more life and to give it more abundantly. I've come so that they may have life and have it more abundantly. And I said, oh, I learned the secret. There is abundant life outside of the church. I know because I'm living it.
Mm-hmm.
My cups are so full of love and of purpose and self-determination. I get to not only um, make my own rules, I am my own sacred text. And I can refer back to the pages of my life as Bible, as the word, as my word. And that's so freeing for me. And now I am closer to the divine, to God, whatever you want to call that energy, than I've ever been. And yeah, and I want others to know that too. That's why I wanted to move toward coaching, because I was thinking, God, I wish I had someone who could have walked me through that, because it
Mm-hmm.
was devastating. I can talk about it, more grounded and okay today, but I was devastated, feeling completely ostracized from my family because they were scared of me. I felt I'm doing these things that they were considered demonic, and you're pulling cards and you saying you talking to the ancestors, all that. Like, I think people were scared of me and probably scared for me, honestly. And I want everyone to know, Mom, if you're listening, I'm okay. I'm all right.
He's good.
But yeah, right. Like I'm good. Things are great. Um, yeah, it was hard at first. And I think just over time, continuing to say yes to myself is how I began to build a body for rejection. And
Mm.
so now, though there's still rejection, there's still things that come up, right? Um, it doesn't sting like it used to. Now there's empathy. I can understand, like, oh, you are saying these things because maybe you are fearful. Maybe you don't understand. Maybe you didn't know that you too could have done something different. And so I want to really just be at least one example that life continues after you go a different way. In fact, life can be really damn good when you
Hmm.
go the way that is aligned for you. And it might
Yeah,
be completely different from how you were raised. And that's okay. Actually, it's excellent because you know you are following the purpose that you set for yourself. That's nothing to do with who parented you, what family you came through. It's about you really being attuned to yourself. Yeah.
I love that. And that I wanted to represence what you said about like when somebody does tell you they're a faithful Christian and you affirm them and you don't bash them. It's like I think there's a beauty in just accepting people how they are right now, you know, um, with everyone. I mean, um, see, I had a moment too. My thought just left my love
Don't you love it? It'll
it.
come
I
back.
usually I
Let me get
usually
my hook.
say
Let me get my hook and bring it out.
I usually say I had a baby once. um, but yeah, just this like let people be. Just let people just exist, you know? Um, oh, I remember what I was gonna say. I had this one so every year on New Year's Eve, we go to my husband's best friend's house. And that's like the one the one day a year that I drink.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we were all sitting around the dinner table. We had two atheists, a Christian, a Muslim, and we were all just having a good time. And like the topic of religion or spirituality, it didn't even come up because we were all like feeling each other's energy, you know? And when you can, I don't know really how to put this in words, but when you can just like feel the essence of a person
Yeah,
and relate to them that way, then it doesn't matter what they want to do or what they believe. Like we're just two humans conversing and sharing energy with each other. I don't know if that made sense.
absolutely. And like to add on to that, like I think that that's a great way to start. That's a great way to be with people,
Hmm.
right? Like we can just be. We can just be in our full essence with our varying beliefs and all of that. And also when you want to be intimate, then I think that you become curious about each other. Well, what do you believe? What are your values?
Hmm.
And then that is when the rubber meets the road because then you determine if how far, how close are we going to actually be where it becomes like you see me and you don't pull back. You see all of me and you're still in it. And I think that that is what's so powerful about being a coach. People share their intimate values, beliefs, concerns, fears, all of it. It's all out there.
Yeah.
And there's no desire to change the person's mind. There's no desire to contort or control and try to, put your beliefs on them. It's like, tell me more about that.
Hmm.
And then I think that's the safety. That's when you can bloom. That's when you can say, okay. And that's what I would love more of. Is it's almost like when people say, "Oh, I can be friends with you, Jada. I don't see color." No, baby, see me. See my color. See me as a black woman. That's important for me. I
Yeah.
want you to say Jada's a black woman Oh, and I love Jada's blackness because this informs the person that she is, the way that she believes, the way that she moves through the world. I love that. But if you don't see me, then you don't see me.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be seen. And so what's beautiful about what you just shared is all of us are coming together, all of us in our essence. And then the closer the relationships, the more it's like, oh yeah, that person's an atheist, and yeah, that's my homie. Yeah, we're friends.
Yeah.
I see where they're coming from. I see where I'm coming from, and we're hanging out. I look forward to this event every year, you know? And I think that that's the beautiful part. That's the beautiful part. It doesn't have to be messy, even if we disagree. But it
Mm-hmm.
is important for us to see each other, I think.
Yeah. I love that. Like I understand the intention behind the I don't see color statement. But like I don't know how to put this in words, but it's like I see you and it doesn't matter to me what you look like. I see all of you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, I think the world would be so much better if there wasn't like, oh, you're a man and suddenly you want to be a woman. Well, I can't accept that because I don't understand it. And well, like, okay,
Be
go for
curious.
it. Be you. Be who you want to be. I don't care.
Be
I all I care
curious.
about is how you treat other people. That's what I care about,
Yeah.
you know?
And a good indicator for how folks treat others is how they treat themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good
Oh,
indicator.
that's good.
Hmm. And sometimes we can't see, like we don't always know, like we don't know the inner dialogue and we don't know all the things that are happening inside of a person. But if you are intimate and you're close to someone and you pay attention, sometimes you can see that there's a little bit of a relationship. Hmm. Yeah. You learn a lot about a person that way. And yeah, I want us in the world to really see each other. There's something so, this is like a catchphrase, something so sexy about consent. And
Oh
to your
yeah, baby,
point,
right there.
exactly, that's where I want it, like that. Um, I love, I love that though, even in relationship and getting to know people and intersectionality and how things are different from race and gender and all these different expressions is asking someone, how do you want to be seen?
Mm-hmm.
Rather than, oh, I don't see color, I don't see gender. How do you want to be seen? Because that person might be like, no, I want you to see me as trans. I want you
Mm-hmm.
to name that. That's important to my identity because the
Yeah.
work that it takes to have that radical self-acceptance. Oh yeah, I don't want you to erase that by saying you don't see it. Oh no, baby, see me. That's how I am.
Mm-hmm.
So like to hear you say like, "Oh, I saw your little box." And like I was like, "What is going on with that box in the corner?" See me. I want to be seen. I've always been kind of like extroverted and kind of like I talk a lot. Child talk a lot. I talk a lot, right? And also parts of me were hidden for so long. And so I love being seen in my on my terms, right? The way, like the work that I've done, the healing that I've done. And I want other people to come out of their shell as they feel comfortable to be seen and loud too. Like, yeah, be loud. Yeah. Be as
Yeah.
loud or as soft as you want to be. Be as big or as reserved as you want to be. But do it on your terms and let people know what the terms and conditions are if they want to play. If they want to hang out, if they want to be in relationship, you get to determine that. And I think that that was part of my rub as a Christian is that I didn't have terms. I couldn't do things the way that I wanted to. There are some scriptures that told me that I couldn't even trust my own heart, that it was wicked. Who could know it? And I'm like, I love my heart. I
Mm-hmm.
love my desires. I love my dreams and my intuition. And so, hmm, I love that we can see each other, especially when we say, this is how I want to be seen. This is how I want to be addressed. This is how I want to be loved. This is how I want to be in community. And for other people to say yes and amen.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think one of the things I'm most excited about with launch, I mean, other than all of the hugs is
Right?
like I I know that I'm so like I'm physically alone a lot,
Hmm.
which is why like I crave the hugs. Like my husband and my son, they're here at night, but I'm alone a lot,
Hmm.
and I'm with people on the World Wide Web,
Right,
but
right.
I can't reach and grab your arm and just like give you
Hmm.
a hug, you know?
Hmm.
And um this group of people, um, they see all of you. And when like they see all of you on Zoom, but when we're in person, they see all of you. And I joked yesterday, and we had a demo day, and I joked, I'm like, everyone look at my good angle now.
Oh my God, I'm so mad I missed it. So, so mad I
Yeah,
missed it.
I think most of them missed it too because I hit send in the comment section right before they hung up, but
Oh.
I was like, everyone look at my good angle now because you're
Mhm.
gonna get all the angle.
Okay, right. There is no hiding when you get outside of the
Exactly.
box, right?
Yeah. But the beautiful thing about this group of people is like they love me for who I am. They love you for who you are. And
Yeah,
they see all of you.
yeah,
And the hugs are great too.
yeah.
I did the foundations of marketing class in 2018, and so I was with them for a day
Hmm.
for a live event, and it was awesome. Like I was a completely different person back then and still like the new girl on the
Yeah.
block, but you know, it was still like I felt seen there. And then the next day, it was supposed to be 2 day live event. The next day I got the stomach flu and was throwing up all over the place. But anyway, I
No,
didn't smear it on the walls.
you did not spirit on the walls. So glad. Woo. And you didn't shoot it out the walls. Like you didn't
No.
do that. Okay, okay, okay.
But yeah, I think just I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm excited to be there again.
Yeah.
The last time I saw Sean, I interviewed him for the podcast in person.
Ooh, how was
I
that?
think it was 2019.
Hmm.
The podcast was brand new. I had a cell phone and a lapel mic that we hung up in the middle of the room.
Period. We love small beginnings. That's right.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's I'm excited.
Me too.
It's been
Yeah.
too long.
It, yeah, and I feel like the new girl on the block. Like I wanted the newbies to like jump in and like I was nervous about ECCP because I had just started BCC and I was like, I'm new to this, but like I was just like, listen, I am Virgo through and through. I was like, oh, I just want to learn. I want to study. I want to take it all in.
Yeah.
And when I saw ECCP, I was like, oh, girl, just do it. Just do it. I had no idea what to expect, but I was just listening to BCC and like taking it in. And I'm like, this, all of this feels so good. It feels so right. And I didn't know that. I mean, I assumed because I had watched Sean and Michelle on YouTube, and I'm like, okay, I get good vibes off both of them. What's going on? Because like I can be suspicious of people. Like, hold on, like, let's
Hmm.
how you doing? Hey. Um, and I'm good with that. It's the drawing nearer that I'm like, hold on, wait, let's check. But the vibes were just good. So I'm like, okay, usually birds of a feather flock together. So that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. And then I come to ECCP and all you amazing people. I was like, okay, yeah, there's something very special about the people who come and stay
Hmm.
in this space. I feel like we are all committed to breakthrough. I feel
Yeah.
that we are all committed to mastery, that we're all committed to living our best lives now, not later, not in the by and by, but now. What's
Yeah.
possible now? And that is exactly like my praxis. Like that's what I wanted. I want this life to be good while I'm here now. So to connect with a community of people who feel the same way, who are making decisions and um leaning all the way in. That's so
Yeah.
rare and unique. And I'm just so grateful to have found you all at that particular crossroad of my life. So yeah, I can't wait to be at lunch. I can't wait to be there in person. I'm gonna have my mask on, child, because I can't be getting sick. I'm gonna have my
Hmm.
mask on, but I will still hug y'all. You'll know me by the hair. You'll know it's me.
I'm totally gonna play that. Everything you just said, I'm gonna play it for my mom because she recently told me because she doesn't understand and she's not in the work. She was like, I think you just keep chasing the dream, Katie. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, you take this course and you think that's going to be it. And then you take another course and you think that's going to be it. And then I'm like, no, 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 no. Hold on. Hold
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
It's called staying in the work.
Mhm.
Like, I've done BCC, I've done ECCP, I've done ECCP in action. Like,
Mhm.
I have the label of master coach and I am still forever learning, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
And I told her, I'm like, well, NASM, which is where I got my personal trainer certification,
Mhm.
every 2 years you have to redo the certification. I'm like, it's the same thing. They call that continuing education.
Yeah.
In life coaching, we call it staying in the work.
Mhm.
So she was like, oh, okay. I think she got it.
Yeah.
But like,
Yes.
there's
Like roll the
something,
tape for mom.
yeah. It's like I'm forever learning and studying and implementing and learning more by implementing. And it's just this beautiful thing that I get to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's just so much to soak up all the time. Even if you listen to the same talk over
Hmm.
and over, you're going to catch a nugget that your brain didn't catch the first time or didn't hold on to. And it's just so good to go pick up all of your jewels. Go pick up all of your
Yeah.
treasure. They're all
Hmm.
there. I love what you shared the other day on Facebook about like starting e-school over. And I was just like, yeah. And even I just love the self-awareness of just being like, yeah, I'm going through it. I am getting things, but like, oh, how might I enhance my experience by going back and picking up all of my jewels? That's essentially what you were saying. And I was like, oh, it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just think that's how I feel about life. There's so many jewels to carry us into the next journey, into the next on the next path. And yeah, I'm just very grateful to be in a community where there is like this abundance of wealth and knowledge and understanding. Um, and it's all geared towards being and living our best lives. That's
Hmm.
incredible. That's incredible.
That did you hear the silent mic drop?
Oh, period. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Well, my friend, I don't want to end our conversation, but I do need to leave in 10 minutes to go pick up my son from school.
Which is
He,
important.
yeah, he goes to school an hour away from where we live, so
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the long drives I was talking about in my post. Like that's when I would listen to, and it's rich and fulfilling and I learned so much, but when I'm not like doing the homework and stuff or
Mm-hmm.
saying I'll do it when I get home,
Mm-hmm.
I'll do like half-ass.
Yeah.
Always use your whole ass.
Yeah. Use your whole ass, both
Your whole
cheeks,
ass.
please.
Both cheeks and the crack.
That's right.
Just,
The
you
most
know,
important part.
yep.
Yeah.
Don't spread it on the walls.
No,
um,
don't spread it. Ooh. Mm.
um, Maybe we won't explain that to the listeners because I don't think I hit record until after you told me
Oh
that
yeah,
story.
like no one's gonna know. You're
We'll
not
just let
gonna
them
know.
use your imagination, people.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do have one more question for you, which I ask everyone at the end, and that is if you had one piece of advice that you could give to the world, what would it be?
Oh, I love that question. And if I may, I'd actually like to pull a card.
Sure.
I want to use this deck. It's a deck of poetry from Lucille Clifton. Um, Wonderful poet, black woman poet, and I really love Lucille Clifton because she was also a medium. She also talked to the spirits, and I love just pulling wisdom from these poems that she wrote. In the spirit of gems being everywhere, I could share my own, but also I feel like there's somewhere else in time where someone else left one for us. So I like to
Mhm.
reach back. It's a part of my ancestral practice. So let's
I love
see
that.
this one. And it says, you must listen with your hands. Oh, oh, do you feel the embodiment in that?
Oh yeah.
You must listen with your hands. And I'm just thinking about all of what you were saying about launch live and being able to hug and reach and touch. And sometimes like that is the most healing, to have the loving touch of someone. Um, mm, and I think that that's important, even though Ancestor Lucille Clifton is talking about physical hands. There are so many ways that we can reach people. And so I think that listening with hands can also be when someone is asking or needing something. It's great to listen with your ears and take it in and soak it in, but then what are you going to do with the information that was shared? How are you going to actually reach out and meet their need? How are you going to be a resource of love and not just a container of love? And I think that that is really good to sit with. What can we do to make our love be action and not just passive? That's a good challenge, I think, for us. What you think?
Absolutely. I love it. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Jeida K. Storey signing off. Until next time.